The Pinball Network is online. Launching.
Triple Drain Pinball Podcast.
All right, Tom, are you ready?
I think so.
Travis, anybody watching video knows, but Travis, are you ready?
Let's just get on with it.
All right, here we go.
We're three guys who like to talk pinball, so we came up with a cloud name. We're Joel and Travis Tom who talk pinball, and we call ourselves Triple Drain, Triple Drain, Triple Drain. We're Triple Drain.
Triple Drain.
All right. First off, we actually had a listener reach out, and they're going to make us a video. They're going to make us a video for that. So it hasn't happened yet, but maybe anybody that's watching the video now after the fact, thank you. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment, all that stuff.
Is this shy Travis right now? Or?
Well, there's the deal. So yes, video is coming for the intro. But Travis right now, for anybody that's listening to the audio podcast, currently is turned backwards. We're looking at the back of his chair. So Travis, feel free to do your dramatic reveal. This is your moment. You go for it.
No, I'm good. I can do it like this.
Okay. So, okay, yes. Well, you sound great. So all the audio listeners are probably loving it.
I mean, we need at least, I don't know, if people start subscribing, maybe I'll turn around. So
yeah.
$29.99 a month. Yeah.
Yes. Patreon. We actually got another Patreon member recently. I really appreciate that. Thank you for all the Patreon supporters. We actually just paid off our merch bill, and so we're letting that build back up, and we're going to see what we're going to do after that. But thank you for that. And we have people buying merch. It's awesome getting notifications from Silverball Swag, so we're selling merch, which is great. It's really cool to see it in public. Tom's been sending me pictures and whatnot, so I think it's become a popular thing to wear at District 82. But Travis, you look ridiculous.
I'm ready.
Okay,
give me some dramatic music or something. Tom,
no.
Give me a beat.
Hold on. I wasn't ready for that.
Who listens to this show? Who spends their time?
Well, the answer is nobody.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
Did you just unzip something? What?
That was a record scratch.
This isn't a strip.
Okay, ready?
Here we go.
Okay.
Ready,
yeah,
Travis?
Go.
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready.
Wow. Oh, what a terrible setup that was. Show it off, Travis. What do you got on? Yep, move the mic a little bit. There it is. That is a Bad Girls t-shirt. A Bad Girls t-shirt. Look at that. Oh, we had a listener. I don't know if he wanted to be shared or not, but we had a listener that reached out to me, and he said their local league, he printed a bunch of these Bad Girls shirts and just thought that Travis deserved one. So for the audio listeners, it's pink. It's a pink shirt. It says Bad Girls on the front with some Bad Girls graphics on the back. He actually sent me, Tom's wearing his Triple Drain merch. Look at that. I'm wearing a Lando Calrissian shirt. How's that? How's that for supporting this podcast? But anyways, he reached out to me. Thank you so much. He actually sent me a shirt as well. He had some odd sizes, so none of the sizes fit Tom. But yeah, thank you so much for the support. Hopefully, Travis, that's becoming.
What are you
your
saying? I'm
shirt.
fat, Joel?
No, it's the opposite. There are 2 XLs.
The shirt is pretty dope. I gotta admit.
Yeah, who would have
thought?
What
else is cool? Like in the background, I want to take the spotlight off me. I want to put it on Joel because Joel doesn't get enough, obviously. Joel, if you could spin slightly, Tom, look at that. Stern Insider Connected, working right there, right behind him.
Yep, fired my games up right before we started.
But
it's updating. Yeah,
this is funny though. Looking in the background, it's the tale of 2 different companies. There's like a Wi-Fi update going on over your left shoulder. And over your right shoulder is like the new hotness for toppers. Cactus Canyon.
There. Yeah, Cactus Canyon. Yeah. So we're going to talk more about that. But
can you hear my Led Zeppelin topper in the background?
No.
Okay,
we can't even see it, but you know what? It looks pretty sweet in the background, though.
Yeah, his lights are
Thank
on.
you for turning it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got yelled at by Joel last episode, so.
He is pretty tyrannical as a producer.
Look at Travis's. I mean, it's cool. It's like seeing something grow before our eyes. Your background is slowly emerging. You have a few more items. You have books that I didn't know you knew how to read.
I do have something right here.
What else do we got?
Those are picture books, Joel. I can tell.
Well, cover up my address here, but look.
What were you shipped?
Look,
It's a box. It's a cardboard box.
It's a box. It's a box. But
So
it's the
Translite?
Yeah, it's the Theater of Magic LE Translite.
Ooh.
That's been signed by Brian Allen.
Nice.
Fantastic artist.
I didn't know
how'd you
had a
steal
Theater of
that?
Magic.
I do not have a Theater of Magic. I have a sickness, Joel.
Oh.
It's called buying a Translite. The game I don't have. But
Well,
it's art. I'm going to put it on the wall, like
Perfect.
somewhere, So
Believe it or not, yesterday I got a Translite in the mail. What I actually did was what I saw on the TNA 2.0 or the TNA forum is that the new TNA 2.0, the back glass, which is printed actually on glass, is much more saturated. It's much brighter. The colors are much more vivid. Somebody had a side-by-side picture of it. And so sure enough, I reached out to Spooky to see if I could just buy one, and they sold me one. So I bought a new one. So now I have, I will be putting that one in my TNA, and then I will have my other TNA that I can hang on the wall. So yeah.
Very cool.
Tom, did you buy a Translite?
No. Everybody loves Joel and Travis. I don't get shit.
We paid for it. We used our money and bought it.
Okay.
That's how that works. Yes.
I mean, I use my wife's money, but whatever Joel said. Yeah. So.
Well, we actually have a bunch of stuff to talk about, and we'll just start at the top of the list. So we're going to start with the Pinball Awards. Last time we recorded was actually on a Friday. It was right before I left for the Pinball Awards. We had a fantastic episode with Neil, by the way. Got a lot of positive feedback from Neil. It was really cool. A lot of people enjoyed hearing about just the European pinball scene and how different that is. And then also I got a lot of feedback of like, it's really cool to hear from a Bond fanatic, who's looking at Bond, not just like every other pinball buyer. Like, this is a dream theme. What does that mean for him? The Bond 60th, obviously he's getting both. He's getting a topper for both, and just kind of hearing all that. So Neil was fantastic. It was awesome having him on. But we did record directly before, like 24 hours before the Pinball Awards. So just a brief recap of the Pinball Awards. First off, it was awesome. I was a part of those, not only part of the committee that dealt with, planning and judging and counting votes and all that stuff, but we ended up having like 55 actual judges that filled everything out. And then we had like 150 something public that voted as well. And it was really cool. There were multiple categories where the public vote actually decided either second or third place. So I know one of them, it was, I think, photography. No, it was photography. Nudge Magazine did win. It was writing. I think the public vote was actually the deciding factor between Nudge getting it or Nap Arcade. And then from a streaming standpoint, thank you very much for the people that voted for the pinball, the Flippin' Out stream. We got second, but third place was actually a three-way tie with the judges. And it was a three-way tie between Dead Flip, Don't Panic Flip, and Fox Cities Pinball. So Tom Graf, actually, Fox Cities Pinball was, by the judges, was a three-way tie. And then the public vote ended up being the deciding factor that pushed Dead Flip into the third place spot.
So always a popularity contest.
Well, that's what you get with a public
I'll never
vote.
win
That's
that.
what you get. Yeah, but judges wise, I mean, Tom, what you do is fantastic, and thank you for everybody that voted for the Flippin' Out stream, which has been awesome. Other things, podcasts, guys, the three of us. This was another thing. We actually got third. It's fitting. Triple Drain.
What?
Taking third.
Who'd we lose to?
Okay, so we lost to the Pinball Show, which I agree.
Okay.
I think the Pinball Show, I love them. I
wait. What do you mean you agree? Joel,
I voted for. I voted for the Pinball Show. I look at the Pinball Show. It's consistent. It's entertaining. Travis, you have to admit, as a distributor, it's kind of insane, but like the Pinball Show has almost been like a news source for you. You're getting information. Travis is being dramatic.
I just look, my code's updating for Mandalorian.
Look at and you hate Insider Connect. It's actually
now what are you saying now? I go where?
I'm
for
saying,
my information
as a distributor, there are times where you're getting information from the Pinball Show. And
strangely enough, not for Godzilla.
It's pissing you off.
From the Pinball Show. Which part? I'm confused.
Like Zach shares information about like what's on the line or what's this or stuff that he's heard. Like, some of this is not direct communication that you're getting.
I see the same emails. What are you?
Okay.
What do you mean?
All right. Well,
I'll be honest. Dennis may not like this. I actually have not listened to the TPS show in about 5 months.
Yeah.
Holy
Since you started
cow.
working in pinball.
It's been a little while. It's been a hot minute. But I need to listen though. I listened to EGP last week.
That's a great show.
And
Great
I
show.
listened to Loser Kid the other day. I listened to Poor Man's the other day. And I did watch your thing though. The Joel and Friends.
It's
the show that Tom's leaving us for.
Yeah.
So
I'm leaving.
Tom's not leaving you. I'm not
Yeah,
leaving you
it's-
guys.
so
I don't even get
Unfortunately,
invited to
yes.
that show.
Tom,
You're
you're
like-
bed.
Joel and
Off
Friends.
the list.
if Tom, if you want to stay awake, you are happy to be on that show. I would love for you to be on that show. Travis, unfortunately, can't be on that show anymore because it is flipping
True.
out with friends and
True.
the pinball company. You know, I just
Joel and
It's
Friends.
a big war.
But so
Yes.
the big war. So, but basically, what's going on? It's like I've heard Zach on other stuff. I've heard
Yeah.
Dennis on other stuff. I just haven't heard them both
the
together.
combined, and that's
Yeah.
fine. But
I need to figure that out.
I think, I mean, I
But
personally
the bottom
voted for
line
the pinball
is
show.
Joel.
It's- yes,
Joel voted for somebody else, though. Tom,
I sure
you hear
did.
that?
That's
sure
true.
did. As a judge, I
Who's
was.
your second? Who'd you vote for second? Did
You
we
only
get?
voted one. Yeah.
Oh,
And,
well, never
and
mind.
as a judge, we were told to
Mhm.
be what's the word, like not objective or subjective, whatever it is. You're supposed to be professional and like what you're voting for the pinball as a whole, not me personally.
So you think
what I
so little of the show that you actually produce?
do I
You're-
think?
You're
Believe
just
it or
like
not,
double-barreled middle finger.
even if I look at the last, how long have we been recording? We've had whatever 5+ minutes. Do I feel like the 5+ minutes of content we've just provided the pinball community is as valuable as the pinball show?
yes,
No. No,
yes,
no is the answer.
1,000%. Yes, look at Tom.
Yeah.
Tom-
What do I?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, Tom, yeah. Tom's
Tom's
going,
like,
yeah.
why do I even show up?
So
Yeah.
what I will say is we actually tied with no, we didn't tie. So Silverball Chronicles, David Dennis, but they got second. But the way it worked, which this is what was funny, is they beat us
Okay,
by
never
one
mind.
vote.
It makes
Silverball
sense now, Tom, why Joel
Silverball
hates us so much. Because he lost
Chronicles.
to David Dennis.
David
That's
Dennis,
why.
yes.
Yeah, it comes out. Okay.
Silverball Chronicles beat us by one vote. So theoretically, if I would have voted for us, then we would have tied. And then the public vote, though, we beat Silverball Chronicles by a large margin. So we got second in the public vote. So either way, we're doing well. I appreciate all the people that listen to us, that happen to vote for us or think of us. I'm looking forward to the Twippies to see where we line up there. But it's just, I'm glad we have people that are enjoying this show, not only the podcast, but also on video. You know, we see the views there. So really, thank you so much for the support. Patreon,
I know
merch, everything.
Tom
Thank
and
you so
I
much.
very much look forward to the Twippy votes and seeing what 3 podcasts you voted for. Yes.
yeah.
We very much look forward to that.
No. Twippies, I can vote for me. Twippies, I can be, what do I want? I voted for us in the Twippies. Don't worry.
Did you? Has
Yes.
the voting already happened? That's my
God,
question.
you were so, yes. it
I really
happened.
don't know.
It happened a long time ago. But
and,
anyways.
and again, I'd like to congratulate Dead Flip and Canada's Pinball Podcast for winning
For winning.
the Twippies.
Twippies,
Yes.
perfect. Yes.
Hey, Dead Flip came back to the pinball.
he
Yeah, he
did.
came back to the Twitch pinball. He
did.
saw
True.
he saw Indisc was just going off, and he's like, "Oh,
Yep.
like here's pinball." I rediscovered
think-
it, so good for him.
I think Jack Danger realized, like, Carl's making waves on Twitch in pinball.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I really wish everybody would stream in pinball, though.
I
You
think
know
they
what I mean?
should.
Just
Yes.
because I think it just adds more to it. It gives more visibility for everybody.
Well, it's about
including
the
that
pinball
streamer.
community.
Yeah.
So
it,
what-
it gets big. for
What
sure.
we're talking about is, so Jack Danger, and there are others, but sometimes they stream in the just chatting category. And the just chatting category of Twitch is an incredibly popular category where you can guess. I mean, there's
It's just
everything.
oversaturated.
There's so much there.
completely. Yeah.
So the thought is, if you have somebody like Jack Danger streaming and just chatting, and some Joe Schmo opens up Twitch and clicks on the just chatting category, that they may randomly see, oh, what's this? This is like they may stumble upon it. While obviously when you stream within your own category, nobody's going to stumble upon that unless they happen to think, oh, pinball, and then they search for pinball. So I get it from an outreach standpoint. I could see that. But at the same time, like, this is the community we are trying to build. So it is surprising that Carl was streaming in pinball. That's where he's been. And then with the Indisc stream getting the top page, like, it blew up. And so what was kind of surprising was to see Jack Danger, who's been streaming under the just chatting category for a long time now. He's back. He's back in the pinball category. And I don't know. I wonder if Twitch was like, hey, you're a Twitch ambassador for the pinball category. Maybe you should stay in the pinball. I don't know. I don't know if it's a Twitch thing or if it's just a personal decision. But either way,
it's a good
back.
thing. Yeah. I think it's a great thing to stream in there. And we had to stop Tom from streaming in the hot tub channels too. He debated with us. He's like, guys, thinking about retiring from pinball. I'm gonna blow up a hot tub. I'm gonna fill it with Mountain Dew and sit in front of these machines.
That'd be good.
That's when he'd leave us. He
probably would blow up doing that. Yeah.
Oh, we know.
It's Tom.
Other parts from the Pinball Awards, it was cool seeing some people in person. I actually met Jason from the Pinball Party. Yay! It was great meeting him. Super nice guy. Obviously, George from Panic Flip, I know him. He was there. Amanda Hamilton was there. It was great. It was just a great time. And I
check out some of Jason's songs too, like his Neon Dale stuff.
Neon Dale, his
really good
album's fantastic. I would just say, looking ahead. Next year, mark it on your calendar. We did like almost $10,000 worth of giveaways, which was incredible. People were winning stuff. So just next year, when the Pinball Awards are announced, that date, mark it on your calendar. Be there for the live experience. It was awesome just being there and chat, going nuts. Have a chance to win some stuff. And if you have a chance to come in person, it was so much fun. It was absolutely a blast to do. Side note, I do have to mention this because I'm truly impressed. Jason is good friends with the people at Nudge Magazine. And so Jason actually brought me one. And this is actually fantastic. It's soft touch. Not only does it feel good, but like the photography in here is incredible.
Whoa, was that a centerfold layout?
No, there's no centerfold, but there's good. I mean, the
Joel
photography
with the pinball ASMR right now. Yeah, rub it some more, Joel. Rub it some more. No, not seriously. Don't actually do that.
The photography is exceptional, and the articles are actually incredibly well written and quite funny. I would just say if anybody's on edge or like thinking about whether or not they should buy this magazine, you should. You should is the answer.
Buy it.
I am incredibly impressed. This is the second edition. The first one's already sold out, but I need to hop on there and become a subscriber and just get everyone from here on out because I really am impressed by this. So thank you for this. And I'm looking forward to reading many, many more. So I will bring, next time I should bring these with me. So
I can't get over you shilling and rubbing the product.
It feels good. It has soft touch on it,
little sexual
guys.
in here.
I'm just waiting for him to reach both hands out of the camera view and just pull back in precision flippers and just start.
Those don't feel good. Those don't feel good. You don't. It's just shiny metal.
The metal on metal. Yeah.
And now I'm conflicted because Pin Clash. Pin Clash is on Godzilla, and I haven't put precision flippers on Godzilla, but I'm pretty confident it wouldn't be. I'm assuming that would be
could
frowned
that be
upon.
banned?
I was about to say,
Carl,
Joel
I think you should ban precision flippers.
I don't know, Carl.
Joel's going to enter Pin Clash, which by the way,
I think everybody should put
and
lightning flippers on their game.
I guess before we go further, we probably should actually say, hey, there's a new Pin Clash coming out from Carl D'Angelo. I think that the qualifying on Godzilla starts February 17th.
It's not yet. I think it's a week away.
Yeah, so it's like open qualifying. We'll get into that more later. But if you have a Godzilla, you have a streaming rig and a stream that's on Twitch, you can enter it, just like Joel apparently is going to out of the three of us. And I guess now you're going to use basically like steroids.
No, I'm not going to put precision flippers on it. But it would be interesting. It would be interesting to hear. I've already been reading the Discord, and people are like, "Well, where do the outlanes need to be?" And Carl's like, "I don't care. You can close them all the way up." Like. He doesn't. It's like, oh, okay. So
rubber band that shit. Yeah,
might as well. Curious to see what he thinks, but definitely look into Pin Clash. Triple Drain. We are actually sponsoring Pin Clash. We threw $100 into the pot as well as a comfy from Travis is going to send a comfy, and we gave a very unique goal. Which our goal is of all the submitted times that end up being submitted, whoever gets the dead center one, the middle of the pack. Technically, you are average. You're not above average. You're not below average. You are average. Whoever gets that score is winning $100 and a comfy from Travis. Travis is holding his hand up.
What time are you going to get on this challenge, Joel.
I will be below average.
You'll be below the
guarantee it.
time average.
I will absolutely be below average.
Wait,
I mean,
is
what?
it?
There goes his
Hey, I don't know.
camera.
No, what? Like,
There
what's?
it goes.
No. We can lean into this. What's a good time?
I have no
Or,
idea. Not time. It's not time.
No, it's not
This is
time.
What you're,
It's
it's
a-
not time. This
It's
is
a
what Travis.
total carnage bonus.
I
for
know.
Tokyo.
No, Joel is going for time. I'm just curious. Like,
This is
how-
Travis finds a weakness and then he has to dive on in. It's
I'm
not
just
time.
asking.
My game
I'm
just
not-
updated, everybody.
Yep, mine's
sweet.
still doing it.
But still, Godzilla has yet to even update.
Well, it'll get there.
Shame.
It'll get
Okay,
there.
so basically what's happening is you can find the information at pinclashtourney.com. It starts February 17th.
That was not me.
It goes Sunday through April 2nd on Twitch. Damn it,
Yes.
Tom.
It wasn't me. I swear
No, that
to
was
God.
your game rebooting, wasn't it?
It was.
That's the duck that like. Meh. It's a weird
That's what it
sound.
was.
Have you
That
never
was
rebooted?
from the pinball machine?
Yeah. Have
Yeah.
You I bet mine will do it when it restarts. It makes this very weird meh sound. It's very strange.
Well, his sounds like it's actually like doing an unzipper, like
No.
a zipper sound. Okay, anyways. So
It's just what's on your mind.
just rubbing that nudge machine. So, anyways, it's a Carnage bonus. You got to play the best one ball Tokyo Carnage. And we're not going to explain what Carnage bonus is because
Yes, we are.
We've done it in a previous podcast. We've already done it. Obviously, you just try to
We-
collect this within like 10 seconds so you can qualify like Joel does.
I say we
The
go
top 24 go through.
more into detail next
Later
podcast
on,
about it
yeah.
because there's going to be a meta. There will be a strategy that people are going to hone in on, and we can probably explain that strategy. I know Travis is already
is it
has
called the
Yeah.
bridge meta?
Yeah,
Maybe.
we're gonna dive into it. It should be really good. It should be really good.
I mean, and
Um,
Carl already streamed
An attempt.
an attempt,
Mm.
How'd that go?
and I don't think he drained the entire game.
Well, that's Carl. That's-
I know it's
Yeah.
like amazing. Like,
yeah, it's
how
a
do
one.
you do that?
I don't know. He's really good. The last little note that I have on the Pinball Awards is innovation. And the reason I wanted to bring this up is because I thought it was really interesting hearing some other podcasters that didn't vote in that section. So most innovative pinball machine. There were podcasters that didn't vote. They felt like last year there was nothing innovative in pinball. And we actually had a Facebook. So Tom had put on our Facebook post that we were going to record, and there was somebody that actually mentioned that, and they said, "Do you think that can we still be innovative in pinball?" And so Weird Al actually won that category, and I think a lot of people lean into it being a P3 game. And so, sure, if we look at Weird Al, it has a hamster wheel. That's unique. I've never seen that before. And then it had that magnet on the ramp to help pull it up. But I think a lot of people lean into the fact that it's a P3. Like the P3 platform is innovative, which I agree. I 100% agree. But that platform shouldn't win every year because it's the same. So it's looking ahead. I challenged myself on, well, what was the last thing that I thought was truly innovative in pinball? And the thing that I thought of was the magnet grab on Godzilla. I thought that post with a magnet, I've never seen that before. I've never seen that implemented that way before. I thought that was a truly innovative toy. It was a unique toy. So I don't know. It's the conversation was, is the only way to be innovative these days to be code? Or, even Elwin on the 60th, like he made that design all out of the top of his head, and then come to find out the figure 8 is very similar to a figure 8 that's in Diamond Lady. Isn't that like it's another game? He's like, oh, I didn't, like, are we at a point where there's so much pinball out, like trying to be innovative with a layout is even a challenge? I don't know. What are your thoughts on pinball innovation? Or
I mean, Bond 60 has 4 spinners on it, like optical spinners. I don't think that's been done on anything. So there's innovation right there. I mean, so what I don't know is who won for innovation last year in the Pinball Awards?
The year prior?
I assume it would be the
I
magnet
think it was
grab?
Godzilla. I think Godzilla won everything last
So
year.
was there an award for exactly what the innovation is, or was it just saying like this game was
It's
innovative?
just which
is that what
game
it
was
is?
most innovative. It's not you weren't you
Okay.
voted for Godzilla. You didn't vote for the magnet
Yeah,
grab.
and I think that's part of it. To me, it's very difficult to say that any one game is innovative to the point of having an award for it every year. To me, it would make much more sense to have just innovation mean just something general in a game, such as like a bash toy, a rule set.
So you vote for a
particular
part of
mech.
It.
Yeah, I mean, because that's where the innovation is. I mean,
that's a good point.
When you look at it, it's like Toy Story. Okay, what do they have? They have a jump ramp, right? I mean, that could be. I mean, it's happened, but maybe the way that a jump ramp is implemented could be a big. Like to me, it's like, for instance, I look back on No Good Gophers, right?
Mm-hmm.
It has a jump ramp. Plenty of games have a jump ramp, but what makes that one especially innovative? It's the fact that you could actually jump ramp towards the right into a hole-in-one, which is a cool moment in the game.
Yeah.
Like that leads to a cool moment. So to me, that's kind of what I look to. Like if there's a new mech, does it lead?
There was a game. It's a game. It's the
Godzilla
games
just
rebooting on the
updated.
updates. Yeah.
But see, Godzilla had two of them though. Godzilla had the building, right?
But,
that was
yeah,
pretty cool. That changed the shot path.
Wait. What's this butt? What do you
Well,
but?
no, some people say the building is just Doctor Who, which I agree. I mean, it's not. But they refer to
how did Doctor Who change the ramps? How did
I get it? I
the
understand
ramps?
the building moving. The fact that it was divert. I agree.
That's
that
a
it
big
was
deal.
different. But there
so
are
what's
people
cool
that argue that.
Right, but then that's what I would say back. Like, what shots did that divert? It didn't like really divert anything, but on Godzilla it did. Like if you changed it, it not only diverts the shots. If you really dig down into it, it changes to where certain other things start, like your bridge attack multi-ball. That it may change from right or left. It changes how you approach other modes. Like, so to me, that is true innovation. When a certain mech in a game changes how you even play during certain phases of the game. So to me, that's what I look for as well.
So,
even Rush has a toy that has an innovated. Oh God, I can't talk. Okay, I'm gonna talk like I'm 5.
Yeah. You fit right into this group. Don't worry. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The ramp on Rush Premium.
Raising up and down?
No,
with the lights?
Lights up.
Oh,
I'll give you that. It does pretty cool stuff with those lights.
So I think this is actually this is a great idea, because I think if instead of the voting being like which game's most innovative, Rush versus this, if it would have been like Rush light up ramp compared to Alien, grabbing the ball with the mouth, compared to Fathom having displays in the apron, like that's unique. Like if they would have mentioned each individual thing, which of these things do we feel is the biggest, like, wow. Yeah. Okay. So,
I mean, because otherwise we might as well say like the best innovation is like an LCD screen every single year.
Yeah, and that's my fear. It's going to be the P3. It'll be the P3 every year. Yeah.
Well, no, we might as well say like Stern Insider Connected. Forever will be the biggest innovation, because now we can update like you guys have shown without touching it. Yeah. So
I think it's useful.
We just have to properly define innovation. I think we just got to be careful of putting that as a blanket on a game. I think it would be better to highlight certain individual stuff, because there is a lot of engineering that goes into this.
Yeah.
Or there's a lot of decision making that comes from people that may not even be the engineers. It may be the coders. It may, you know what I mean? So like stuff like that. I think that would just be a better way to go about it.
I agree. And if anybody listening watched, so the Pinball Awards, it's on. If you go to the Pinball Network on YouTube, you can watch it there. It's under the live section. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed it.
Extremely well produced for a live show.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great.
We had a lot of talent, if you want to say that, in that room, that we all pitched in on making, doing our parts. And George Fisher, with OBS, he's a wizard. He knows what he's doing. Jason was there with audio. Like, we had all the pieces we needed to have a great time. And yes, I know we were very proud with how it went. And I'm looking forward to next year. I'm looking forward to doing it again.
The best moment, Joel, was when you got up in front of the stuff and you were like,
so that moment. So we gave Greg and Zach a screen that they had on a monitor that they had on their podium, so they could see what was actually on stream. So they would know. We didn't hear the videos. So we, in the room, we had no idea what, like, it was silent when the videos were playing between categories. So we didn't know, like he was they were watching those videos, and then George was like 10 seconds, 5 seconds, and then he'd kind of point where to go. Well, what Zach didn't know was that monitor was touchscreen. So he was actually looking at the same monitor that George was. So he touched the screen and he actually changed scenes. So we were in the middle of the video and he changed the scene. And then it was kind of a scramble to where were we? Let's get back to the scene kind of thing. And so George just like turned on the mic so it wasn't silent. So we could hear Zach being like, uh-oh, I messed up. What'd I do? You know? And so in the room, people are like, well, what, like Zach's like, what are we looking at? Like, what are we looking at right now? And George goes, Joel, because somebody had clicked my scene. So I'm just standing there like, uh-oh, what's going on? And they're like, what are we looking at? Joel. And then everybody in the room looks at me. So apparently I panic. And the response is this? I don't know, like just pumping my arms. So it ended up creating a funny moment.
It was classic though.
I don't know. I don't know. So when I realize I'm on camera, apparently that's what I'm going to do. But anyways, Pinball Awards, it was fantastic. Check it out. But if you have any feedback, like that's actually a really good point. Instead of doing just most innovative pinball machine, actually, what's the most innovative thing? I like that. I think that would be worth proposing to the committee. But yeah, feel free to email the pinballnetwork@gmail.com. Thoughts, anything like that. Or comment on the video on YouTube. Other awards, believe it or not, Travis won a Pinball Degenerates Award.
Oh, sorry. I'm supposed to do this like Joel did.
Yeah. So, Pinball Degenerates Award for what? The most degenerate score. Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed your 0-0 ball one is going?
Hey, it's just proof. I don't even have to flip the ball to beat a Carl score or to beat an Eric Stone score. I don't have to flip.
didn't get that award.
Yeah. He had to do so much.
Nope, he just got a trophy and a bunch of money.
No,
I got a trophy too.
That's true. You got a plaque and some money.
I don't know if they're giving money though for it.
Well, the Pinball Degenerate Award.
Yeah.
But
you're screwed.
You definitely need to put that behind you and continue to improve your background. Yeah,
I will. It's probably gonna it's gonna go somewhere back there.
Let's talk about what I won.
What did you win, Tom?
What'd you win?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. The Pinball Degenerate Awards. It's the Pinball Degenerates Facebook group. It's a very entertaining group. Feel free to check them out. But yeah, there were a lot of nominations for different things. Shout out to the Pinballers. They won the best game room, or the most degenerate game room, which was pretty cool. So yeah, very neat, very neat. But I think that's it for awards. We're really, nothing really coming until Twippies, and we'll have to talk about that after we record in late March. So should be a good time.
Maybe we can do a live show.
We will all be there. All three of us, as of right now, should be at Texas Pinball Festival, which should be real good.
If only we had mics that we could take with us and a recorder.
Well, we're going to put that on Travis. We'll see.
Okay. It probably won't get done then. Sorry, guys.
Other things worth discussing. Let's just go ahead and dive right into Scooby Doo. Scooby Doo. It's come out. The Spooky team did a live stream. It wasn't live. They recorded it and then put it up on YouTube. It's been out for a little while now. I know all three of us have watched it. We'll start with Tom. Tom, initial impressions of what you saw from the Scooby Doo gameplay.
It was interesting.
Okay. Solid.
Thank you.
What, any particular things you found interesting?
No.
So you did not buy one. That's what I'm hearing. You did not run out and place an order for Scooby-Doo.
It was fine. I thought the quality of the actual presentation could have been upped, but
the actual stream,
yeah. But it was, it was spooky, so gotta give them a pass.
Of course, why not?
The bookcase flippers, interesting.
Yeah.
Actually, I thought that worked pretty well, considering it's very different. That left flipper on upper flipper on the play field, but I didn't watch like a ton of it, so I haven't really like studied up on it or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts.
Oh. Well, Tom, would you say the upper flipper would be innovative? Do you think that would qualify next year as an innovative mech?
Yeah, I think that would qualify for sure.
Yeah. So what he's describing on the upper playfield on Spooky, it's almost like a big L. You have, instead of your flipper, it's like an extension on that. And so what is unique is when you hit the center ramp, which actually goes up to the upper playfield, you have to hold the upper left flipper like you would normally, and that actually moves that back part so that it stops the ball from just rolling right past the upper playfield onto a ramp. So you have to kind of get used to that. And then the way that you're doing it, when you let go of the upper flipper, if you time it right, it almost like slingshots the ball over to the right. So you kind of have to use it to aim as well. It's a very unique way to control the ball movement up there.
Almost like a teeter-totter or something.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's probably the most interesting thing in the game, because the upper flipper is set to look like a bookcase, which fits into the theme. The fact that you could not engage it, let it still come down, right, to the left flipper again. Or you could engage it, like Joel said, hold it up, and then use that top part of it to slingshot it into, I guess it's a Scooby Doo lane or something like that. Or you could even let it roll down a little bit and use the bottom part of it to hit wherever you need to hit. Yeah. So, I mean, that is pretty cool. 2 separate areas to use as a flipper with this mech.
I agree. I will say the upper flipper, though, because of that, and I don't know if it's just the extra weight on the mech itself, but it doesn't seem like the ball that comes off that left flipper is super fast. Like, it seems kind of slow, and I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I mean, we'll have to figure that out when we actually play it. But there are a bunch of shots in that upper playfield. I held the upper playfield. We had one to give away at the Pinball Awards. It's huge. It is a huge playfield. There's like 5 or 6 shots up there. There's a horseshoe up there, so you have 2 shots there, a bash toy, and then there's like 3 shots over to the right. And I don't think you can backhand some of those shots on the right. So you're going to have to be able to hit that with the upper flipper. And whether or not you do it normally from the flipper or slingshot it, I don't know.
This game is full of horseshoes.
A lot of horseshoes.
A lot of horseshoes.
Yeah, I think there's 4
a lot.
actually.
If you like horseshoes, this is your game.
Yeah, if you like hitting a shot and immediately coming back at you, this is your game. This is your game. No, I will say at least. Well, you go first, Travis. What are your thoughts? Your takeaways from Scooby Doo?
I mean, it's so. Like I said, I'm not gonna really. How do I word this? So I do agree with Tom. I wish that the presentation of the actual stream would have been a little bit better, but at the same time, it's like at least that there's a stream out.
It's something.
Yeah, I don't think they know anybody in Wisconsin that can stream that.
They are going to do an actual Jack Danger stream. The problem is,
which is kind of strange to me as well, since Jack is
a Stern employee.
Yeah, he's an actual pinball designer. So I mean, it's just but it is what it is. At least they're getting it out either way. So. But that being said, for me, it was kind of difficult to listen in to what was going on, because sometimes the game audio was clipping out of what they were trying to convey. And so that part was a little chaotic for me. But, at least just putting on mute and just following shots and following what the LCD screen was saying, a lot of stuff made sense to me with what was going on. The main takeaway that I took from it is the gameplay will take forever on this game. Like, the ball times are forever. And one of the things that I was concerned about, that we talked about before this even got like the gameplay reveal, is the far right-hand side leading up from basically the right in lane all the way up to, I guess it would be like a right orbit shot or the other horseshoe shots and all that. There's really nothing but that one slingshot that's going to toss the ball out. So when you look at this design, nothing about it is really designed to be dangerous in general, to go to the outlanes. And we even looked at some measurements, and it's like even the gap from the post on the left-hand side to, I guess, that big plastic part, the gap's really not there for a ball to go to the left out lane, and it's a double left out lane there. So it's just kind of like unused parts of the playfield. And I noticed, I think I might have saw it took about 20 to 25 minutes into this video, into like a 40-minute gameplay video, to even see a ball go to an out lane, I think. If I remember right, everything seemed to be draining right down the middle. And then they also have a target that will come up and actually save the ball from down the middle. So all of that combined is a little bit concerning for me. But at the same time, I think that this game is not necessarily for people that are on location. I think it's more for people that are in a home environment. Because if this is on location, you almost have to pull those posts out completely. But even then, it's like that could be dangerous because I think that makes the plastic to the in lane and out lane. I think that makes it too exposed, where then you'd have chipped plastics too. So I'm curious to see how that works, because none of the shots seem dangerous going to out lanes. And then even on that left side, you even have the lowest drop target, right? It seems to block shots go in that direction as well. And everything just seems to just easily feed left in lane or go right back to the flippers in the playfield.
I totally agree. That was my first, I realized I was 10 plus minutes, it felt like, into the video, and Bug was still on his first ball. And I know the designer said the reason they did so many horseshoe shots is they needed dangerous shots. They needed shots that sent the ball back at the flippers quickly, because every other shot that isn't a horseshoe is a safe feed into a habit trail. There's like 4 or 5 habit trails that all feed your lower flipper. Like
the
safely.
problem is though, a horseshoe shot, even if it feeds back to the flipper, that's still a safe shot. That's not dangerous. For anybody that's above a casual, they're going to learn to dead bounce it. They're going to learn to catch it. So, I mean, unless that ball's like going to a slingshot or something like that, which, I just think by looking at by design, it feels like to me that this is designed for the casual in mind to have long game times, to have long ball times. I think that's perfectly
they
fine.
even said in their video, like, something about tournament players. But
well, yeah, they're obviously
like they want this to be in tournaments.
No, I don't think so.
Or I don't look at this game and think that it's designed with anything in mind other than the casual playing at home and getting to play for a long time.
Well, so that brings up a whole other thing. But to wrap up, what I would say is the physical layout. I know when we watched the spooky the Halloween stream, like immediately we were just like, what is going on? I mean, with the scoops and the rejections and all this stuff, like there were immediate issues that we saw. So I will say, coming out of the Scooby Doo stream, there wasn't immediate issues that I saw when it came to mechanical or layout. What I will say though is like, that lower left side, there's 2 rows of drop targets. I barely saw those used. The lower right side, they added an extra sling because there isn't anything there. I don't know if I ever even saw it go off. The out lanes are barely used. And then that middle diverter, you can like collect Scooby snacks, and then that gives you up to 3 saves. So it's almost like you have this ball save that's constant.
Infinite.
And
well, the game plays
too
too vertical too. That's the thing. The game does not require you to go horizontal at all. It's, even then, because they have timers that time you out of stuff, and the timers just, it seems lopsided with what the design is, because I don't recall anybody even finishing a mode really until like about 18 minutes into the video, and then I saw the unmasked bonus. Isn't that how they finish the mode? Like it's kind of like collecting a gem.
You can finish a mode, but then if you unmask them, you get like, that's where all the points are at.
Finishing the mode starts that hurry up, right?
Sure, yeah.
So that's what I'm wondering. Did any other modes get completed?
Well,
easily, because it felt like they were timing out of a lot of stuff.
So apparently there are actual character modes, and I didn't see any of those. Those aren't in there yet. And then I didn't see any multi-ball associated with the apron locks. I didn't see anything with that there yet. But overall, just speaking of code, so to wrap up, the overall physical layout, I want to shoot it. I think it looks unique. It didn't look floaty like a wide body because it is a standard body on the bottom. You would disagree?
I thought the game looked really floaty. At one point, the ball got stuck on the upper playfield because it lost momentum.
Well, the upper playfield, though, seems slow. The upper playfield seemed slow to me.
Everything just looked slow to me. Like, it just... That's the main takeaway. I know, talking to a lot of other players that watched it as well, the vast majority felt like the game looked floaty.
Okay.
But it's interesting you don't think it looked floaty, and that's fine. Everybody's entitled to their opinion.
I don't know.
Doesn't make it
looked
wrong.
easy. I thought the layout, there are plenty of reveal streams that we see, and it's you put some, and this is kind of another conversation, but it's, like Stern or Deadflip will do a reveal stream, and you'll get these people that step up to it, or even Buffalo when they did some of the reveal streams, like when they did the, I think it was Wonka or Pirates, and you had just casual people walk up, all of a sudden the game looks like a brick fest. And when you compare that to the people that are actually designing the game, who have played this game more than anybody else on the planet, they, is the game easy, or did they just make the game look easy because they know the shots? Like, I don't know.
Here's the problem,
you won't know until other people stream it.
Here's the problem, though. Like, even you just said, like, and I agree, the game looked easy overall. There wasn't many outlane drains, but then why were modes not getting completed on a regular basis? Like,
that's what I want to say.
Yeah, the equilibrium is off right now.
Well,
I mean,
so
it's
I would
clear.
say the physical layout, that's my kind of my takeaway.
Mhm.
But it looks great. The light shows, I'm really happy with that. Now, talking about code, that's what I think is weird here. Is I actually think the code is actually rather complex. They actually some of these modes are pretty involved. And that's what it's like, well, why aren't we seeing these complete? Because they're long. Like they made these modes very unique. Like one of the modes, you have to find certain shots at the bottom side, but to do that, you have to collect air up in the upper playfield. So you have to hit a bunch of shots
Oh,
up
the
there.
Captain Cutler.
Yeah,
one?
once you get enough air, then you can go down low and hit a bunch of shots. It's like there's steps here. One of the modes is a safe. You're literally trying to crack a code. So you're trying to see there's 4 shots and you have to hit them in a very particular order. So you got to remember what you hit and hit it in that order. So to me, I think as like you're gonna laugh, but like as an above average player, I would say that's exciting. That's exciting to me that these are unique and creative code. But yet we just said it seems like this layout is made for novice or casual people. These rules are not for novice casual people. They're not going to have any idea what they're doing.
I was looking at it, Joel, and I was even thinking I would have a hard time completing some of these modes because it seems to happen so quick. And even at one point, they actually, I think this is like, I'm looking at the screenshot right now. This is about 18 minutes and 45 seconds into the video. They even put up a disclaimer of text over it and says that a mode can be super complicated. They play it again later. Stay tuned. And that was when they got into like the mystery van multi-ball.
The multi-ball,
right?
yeah,
And they couldn't explain it within 10 seconds. It just seemed like, and then it happened so fast, like nobody knew what happened. There's no way the viewer knew what happened. I still don't know what happened. I just know that multi-ball was there. So yeah, that's the thing. It just seems like that there's a lot of shots for certain things. It seems to be obviously that they're creating a wide mix of diversity in terms of like what type of shots you need to hit and how often you need to hit them. That's what it seems like that they're going for. And that's fine. It's just at the same time, you still want these modes to be accessible for people. So if it's accessible, that would be great. But even watching all of them play it, and they've played it plenty of times, that was the concerning part that I saw, that there was modes not being completed on a regular basis. It just felt like the timers went much quicker than what they should have been compared to how many shots had to be completed.
Okay. Well, that would be a great, we don't have to transition, but that actually makes me think about this game right here at Cactus Canyon a lot. And we're going to talk about that. But when it kind of brings up this bigger picture, and maybe feel free to write in tripledrain@gmail.com or Facebook message us. But the thought there's like, if you're designing a game for novice people, and no, I don't think any manufacturer today is designing a game for novice people, because that would completely turn off the rest of the pinball buyers that are like, oh, the game's too easy. But that's kind of a question, is like, what do novice players actually want? Because they don't want deep code. They don't care. They need something quick, shallow, that's going to give them instant gratification. So to me, I mean, Cactus Canyon, we're going to dive into that. That game does that very well. But like the jump ramp in the Duke Kaboom ramp in Toy Story, simple, it's already lit, it's one shot, and then they keep trying it until they hit it. Like that's a simple novice level thing for instant gratification. Godzilla, the thing right up in the middle is the building. Just keep hitting it and you're going to get your satisfaction. So I'm thinking like Scooby, if the layout is supposed to be more friendly, what are they putting into that game? Like, I think the Captain Cutler thing up at the top is kind of a bash toy and there's magnets. Maybe that's the thing that novice will want to do. I don't know. I don't know.
I look at it, and I mean, I went ahead, I asked my kids, I asked my wife, I asked my friends and family, like, out of this layout, what do you guys think? What interests you the most? And overwhelmingly, everybody was saying the upper playfield.
Sure.
Like, nobody cared about the drop targets to the left. Nobody cared that it was a wide body. Nobody cared about the spinners. Everybody cared about the upper playfield and that flipper mech that we talked about earlier. That's a bookcase. Yeah. So that would be the part to go. So now it's just a matter of making that accessible to people that's close to the start button. That'd be the goal.
Here's an interesting thought. And so think back to Simpsons Pinball Party. The first time you go to the upper playfield, it holds the ball and then it snaps that upper flipper to like let you know, like, hey, it's right here. So there's nothing in there from a mechanical standpoint that would because the center ramp is what feeds the upper playfield. But unless you have that flipper held, that ball is going to go whizzing by you. So that to me is like, as a novice player, they're not going to be prepared for that. So I'm almost curious, what if they coded in that the very first time you hit that upper playfield, it automatically holds your left flipper up? You know, something to just show that. Like, oh, like I think there needs to be some hand holding for these novice players. Otherwise, the ball's just going to whiz by every time. They're never going to be able to do anything on the upper playfield.
No, that's true. And I think a lot of this depends too. Are these players playing on location?
Mm.
And I think Scooby Doo would be a good location theme too. I think a lot of people would see it, unlike my camera that you can't see. But I mean, what do you think, Tom? Between this, because you know, I mean, we've all seen what Bond's done on location. We've heard some people report that Bond's done fantastic on location. We've heard others say it's not doing as well. So when you look at this, is just like two majorly different themes from a very similar era, but I'm curious to see how Scooby Doo carries over on a location setting.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say because I think it'll do well just based on theme.
Oh yeah.
So I think people are going to gravitate towards it just because of the theme. Whether they keep putting money in it, that's another story. But I if it's accessible, which it seems like it is, I think it'll do well.
Yeah.
You know, I think one of the big things is the bash toy on the mini playfield too, which we haven't really touched on. I think people are really like bash toys.
Oh yeah.
Especially something like that where it's not going to absolutely kill you because it's not in front of your flippers. So it's hard to say. Now, I've seen some spookies on location and they're usually down. So is this one going to survive the test and, you know, be up and running, you know, kind of thing, where it's not having issues? That's another story.
And I know they did a whole new like operating system. They did a whole new all the parts underneath. It's a whole new system. So how reliable is it? I don't know. We'll have to see. What were you saying, Travis?
No, I was just echoing Tom. That is a big deal. I mean, I know the location that I used to play at down in Oklahoma City at Cactus Jack's. They usually get every single spooky game. So I've played every single spooky that's been created at this point. And yeah, they go down soon quicker than what they should. And it is a little bit frustrating because there are certain games that you want to be able to play for a while, like a TNA or a Rick and Morty, you know, or even Alice Cooper. There's some interesting shots on there. So yeah, I hopefully that these issues have been addressed because, I mean, obviously the longer the games stay up on location, the more people get interested in your company and your themes that you're producing, the more you can get your brand out there. So yeah, hopefully that can be done. And I see this doing well on location. As long as it doesn't make those sounds.
Every one of your games is updating right
it's
now.
It's Godzilla
Tom,
again.
Yeah.
There you go.
I love it.
It's letting you know it's ready. But yeah, I think the upper playfield is pretty cool. The ball obviously is designed to stay up there for as long as you can with that middle post.
Yeah.
Between
the middle post up there. Yeah. It is very friendly, and I think you're right. I think you're onto something there. If novice see that and the fact that the hands move of the guy and it's a bash toy up there, that would be a pretty easy, like, hey, hit the center ramp. It's going to go up there, but you got to hold your flipper up and then just keep trying to hit him and you start a multi-ball. Like, that's a very easy thing to communicate. But my overall takeaways from the stream were, like, I'm excited to play it. I'm impressed with how much code is already in the game. Like, I think there's a lot in there and they're only going to add more, you know, really great video clips. They've got good call outs. Like, I love that the code, the actual modes are creative. I think each mode was very unique based on the villain and trying to tell a story. So I think they're doing a lot right. But until more people touch the game and really feel like, how does it shoot? Is it too easy? How do you adjust that? I don't know. But regardless, I didn't walk away with like a bad taste in my mouth. It was like, okay, that was a good first showing. And let's see what happens after that.
I think this is a mile step up from Halloween and Ultraman though.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I think fully what's interesting about this game is I felt like the people that bought it before seeing it They were just fine with seeing it. They're like, okay, yeah, I made the right decision. And I think the people that decided not to buy it thought, okay, fine, I made the right decision. I feel like everybody saw what they expected to see out of it. I don't think that there was any general surprises out of anybody, it feels like.
So that reveal happened it was the Friday before the Pinball Awards. So I was there, and I was there with Zach. And Zach, I mean, he's checking his phone all the time because it's like the business never stops. And he's like, well, sold 2 more Scooby Doos from that stream. And sometimes streams are the exact opposite, right? You get calls of like canceling orders because they saw streams. So it was, I would say the overall feedback from the stream is good. But yeah, I had mentioned Cactus Canyon. I want to bring this up, and I will say this game. So Cactus Canyon, this is Zach's Cactus Canyon Remake LE. I brought that from his house, and this is what I'm streaming until I'm assuming Bond 60th or Scooby Doo or something that's coming out. I had very low expectations for this game. This game, I was told by a lot of people, you will get bored. You will get bored of this game. The code is very shallow. So to me, I don't know. I know there weren't a ton of, this didn't have the same love as Monster Bash, Medieval Madness, Attack from Mars. I had very low expectations for this game. I am really enjoying this game. And I know that this is hard for Travis and Tom to understand because like this game,
the topper lights up, man. It has a light that goes back and forth.
No,
yeah.
Okay.
The topper, why you love it.
The topper is legitimately impressive. Now, don't get like I have a Deadpool topper. I'm a fan of that. I have the Turtles topper. I will gladly buy the Godzilla topper when it comes out. This topper is a whole nother level. The way it's built, like it is sturdy. I'm pretty sure I could drop this thing and it wouldn't break. Like it is sturdy.
Let's try it right now.
Yeah, let me get on that. But like the topper is what I've had friends and family over. Everybody's like, whoa, they're taken back by it. But then what is cool though is there are times in the game when you do the shootout and different things, when you hit a drop target, anytime you shoot a bad guy, the whole guy, he like knocks back. So there's an audible like knock sound. And just having that when you're playing and like hearing it, it's just one more little bit of sensory, input. That's fun. His arms don't go crazy like they did in the video. Like they're actually choreographed very well. And then the topper mode is fun. Like it is a fun, it's way more fun than the video mode would have been. So I will say anybody that's thinking about buying the Cactus Canyon Remake, it is worth buying the SE Plus. Like the topper truly is incredible. Bye. I'm going to shill the heck out of it. But what we were saying though is like, what has blown me away from this game is how much my friends and family have genuinely liked the game. And I think it is because it is so accessible. The theme is understood. It's cowboys. The theme integration is incredibly well done. The shots, like my wife actually played this game. She actually touched one of my pinball machines. My wife did. And what did she do? She actually hit shots. Like she actually was hitting the center ramp and like it's accessible. It's easy to hit. So you feel like for novice players, you actually feel good. I actually felt good playing the game. My brother, we streamed it the other night. He stepped right up and was able to hit shots. And when you can hit things, you feel it's way more fun than bricking. That's for sure. But then like my kids and everybody like, oh, I love that his hat flies up when you hit the bash toy. It's a bash toy. Like bash toys are super accessible. Everybody understands you hit the guy and his hat flies up. The quick draw, the fact that it stops the ball and gives you a little scene where it's popping up targets and it's very like there's no explanation needed. There's one target that's lit up. It stopped the ball for you. Hit that target. Like that's the thing. My friends and family actually were hitting the start button over and over and over again. And I just haven't experienced that. I haven't with all the other games Zach's let me borrow. This is the first game that like my friends and family have truly enjoyed. And walking away from the stream, like my brother, I would consider him, he's gotten to be a pretty decent player. He walked away from the stream and he's like, that's the most fun game we've streamed. And I was like, really? And he goes, I enjoyed playing that game more than every other game you own except for Godzilla. That was his one exception. But I was like, you like Cactus Canyon more than Deadpool? And he goes, I think I do. He's like, I love Deadpool. I love the theme. It's a fun game. It's funny. But he's like, genuine though, I had more fun though playing Cactus Canyon. So I don't know. It just that just is it's screwing me up, guys. It's
Do you
screwing me
want to
up.
answer why, Travis, or should I?
You can answer first, and I'll answer second.
Okay. So I think the reason for that is a couple of things. One is the rules are extremely easy to understand.
Yes.
So you hit these 3 shots, it starts a mode.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a typical Bally Williams era rule set. Whereas you compare that to today's rule sets with Deadpool, Godzilla,
Oh yeah.
yada, yada, yada. They're complex. So they're harder for the novice people to understand. And then you have really cool toys on that game, honestly. Like you said, you have the guy with the hat. Was that Bart?
Yep.
You have the gold mine that raises and lowers. You have the drop targets. You have the little train that goes by. You know, so there's a lot of stuff on that game. The reason I particularly don't care for it is, and I shouldn't say that. I like going out to a location and playing it.
Okay.
But I wouldn't have it in my house because it's too easy. You know.
So, and I'll let you talk, Travis. But speaking on too easy, like my brother, the second game he played on it, he was actually progressing pretty far in the game. Yeah. The second game he played. Now I explained the rules and whatnot, but I think he had gotten through all the modes. So that's, I think, Stampede. And then I think he had started, Shootout, Showdown, which is when you get all the quick draw targets. So it's like he got through 2 of the 5 things just on his second game. And I when we streamed it the other night, that's the first time that I've truly played it for an extended period of time. I was 1 shot away from the wizard mode. So I had missed Motherload. Motherload is the multi-ball mode, which I will say is awesome. Like the multi-ball, you start multi-ball, all 5 jackpot shots are hit. Once you do that, then the mode, the gold mine scoop is raising and lowering, opening, and you have to time it when it's open. And just like it reminded me of the Groot head when I had Guardians of the Galaxy. Like there's one of the modes, the Groot head mouth is going up and down, and you have to time the shot right. Very cool, very cool. So, but what sucked is I missed it, and so I would have had to grind all the way back into multi-ball to have another chance at it. But that was it. If I would have completed Motherload, I did everything else needed to qualify High Noon, which is, I think it's High Noon. No, High Noon at OK Corral. Yeah, the wizard mode. So this is something, I mean, I'm definitely going to keep playing this game because maybe if I get to the wizard mode, I'll lose all sense of enjoyment. I don't know. But even just playing it, you know, when I'm streaming, I'm playing a game for 2 hours straight. It kept drawing me back in. And I wanted to play more. But I don't know, Travis, thoughts on?
No, I mean, you're pretty much saying exactly what everybody in pinball kind of knows about it. I mean, it's that was the thing about it at the very beginning too. When it went on location, there wasn't many of them produced. I think there was maybe like 900 total, and then they ended up going to like Pinball 2000 platform or whatever it was back then. So, but yeah, one of the big draws of it though for people when they first start playing is that everything is truly accessible to it. And we keep using this term apparently all podcasts long, but it's true because the plunge comes directly to right flipper. So you're never going to get a house ball or anything like that. You really don't even have to use the ball save. It's basically a fan layout. There's just really no true dangerous shots in the game. And, you know, that's a big reason why my wife and my kids were drawn to it years ago, because it is on location and original down in Oklahoma City as well. So we had plenty of time on it. It comes down to things are very easy to start and shots are very easy to hit. So when you mix those two things together, it provides a good experience overall. And this kind of goes back to what we were talking about with Scooby Doo, that you got to be careful of making things too overcomplicated compared to with how difficult the game shoots or how easy the game shoots. And I think with Cactus Canyon, for a lot of people, it's easy to approach. Oh, yeah. Now, that being said, because it's so easy to approach, if you have multiple games in your collection, and you've mastered them all, like you've gone to, say you get to like a wizard mode on like Mandalorian or something like that. That's a lot of wood chopping, right? You're probably going to destroy Cactus Canyon fairly quickly. That's just the reality of it. And for a potential buyer, you got to decide, is that worth it to you? Is it worth the topper? Is it worth some of the movement in the game to have something that you may end up beating on a consistent basis? And some people are perfectly fine with that. It's just, and there's other people that as soon as they beat a game, they lose all interest in it. So the last thing you want to do is spend $10,000, $12,000, however much they are now, on a game, and then lose interest in it within a month.
I totally agree. And I will say the other things that I do enjoy with the game, the XL display, the XL dot display is gorgeous. The speaker lights on this thing are awesome. Like the light show is super impressive. It's just CGC as a whole, I'm really impressed. The game is incredibly well built. It's freaking heavy. Like getting this thing down in the basement. And the playfield is perfect. Like I know they still screen print their playfields, but they're just like, it is a drastic difference comparing that playfield to a Stern playfield. And I'm really impressed. I'm very impressed by this game. But it impressed me so much that like here I am racking my brain where if I'm in a constant pursuit of four games that I can own, but I want to find that balance of a game that draws me in, but also a game that my friends and family want to actually play and play on their own. It's made me question, should I have a CGC game? Should I have a Medieval Madness or an Attack from Mars or a Cactus Canyon or a Monster Bash as one of those four games? Have a game that's incredibly well done, but it is well liked by novice people. And when I was streaming it, there were people in chat that were like, I have a Cactus Canyon will never leave. It's my most played game by my friends. And that's the thing. Just having it. Do I think it's a one pin collection game? Probably not. You will get bored of it. But in a 4-pin or larger collection, having a game like that anybody can step up to and have a good time, it's really made me think about it. It's really made me think about trying to buy one of these. But I'm stuck. Like I love this topper. I feel like I have to get an LE or an SE Plus. And it's made me look back where it's like knowing how good this light show is. They don't have those RGB LEDs in Attack from Mars. They never made one that way. They made with Medieval Madness, the Royal Edition has that light show and the extended XL display with the lights, but you either have to have the Royal Edition or you have to buy the upgrade kits to upgrade your old one. Monster Bash has that. But I was looking, like I'm watching Monster Bash videos, you like fall into modes on this. You just hit a shot 3 times and you're in the mode. Monster Bash isn't that way. There's a little more complexity to it. And I'm curious if that little more complexity would be a turnoff, like to the novice people. I don't know.
No, well, most people know what Monster Bash is too, and casuals love that as well.
Okay.
I mean, seeing Universal Monsters, seeing Frankenstein come up and down, it's and then seeing Dracula, if you eventually get them started going back and forth. So yeah, these are just things from that era to where the rule sets very much weren't super deep on most of the games, but it did have certain mechs that you were able to see very early in the game. And for somebody that's dropping coins into a game, that makes sense. That's what you want. And so it does make complete sense that a novice or a casual would be into something like this. And that's pretty much what they had to do too. Because if you look at it, none of these themes are really licensed themes either. Yeah. So it's not like people are being sold on just the theme itself. Like they're being sold on the general idea of the theme. So Cactus Canyon, it's not because, it's Cactus Canyon. It's because, it's bad guys. It's a Western. It's stuff like that. That makes more sense. It's the same way Attack from Mars. It's not because, it's Attack from Mars. It's because it's aliens and you see a spaceship. Yeah. So, I mean, these are just decisions, design decisions, coding decisions that were very much based off the era. Their time. It's like a snapshot. I don't think that you would see the same thing really be done too much nowadays.
No,
I just can't. I can't recall anything off the top of my head that's really like that in general. I mean, there's bash toys. There is like Walking Dead.
But look at Stranger Things. Look at Stranger Things. Is you hit 3 shots and it starts the mode.
That was going to be the only example I could really think of. Big Demogorgon in the middle with a bash toy. Like whenever you put a bash toy somewhere, that is what people associate. I mean, it's just like even Walking Dead. There's people that probably have really no idea what the rules. There's a lot of people that don't even realize what the drop targets do in relation to prison and to the well walker, but they know the well walker's right there. They're just going to hit the shit out of them multiple times till it eventually starts a multi-ball. So yeah, you just see hallmarks of that, but I can't really recall games being produced that fall into the more Cactus Canyon vibe, because it's even like Munsters, for instance, right?
Mm-hmm.
They went shallower code on that, and
Yep.
they did it on purpose. And a lot of people that are still into that theme, at least they do have that bash toy with
Mm-hmm.
Herman. Like, you had to have something like that. You had to have that hook
Yeah.
with it. So I mean, that's basically that, and Stranger Things might be the only two things that I can really think of like up close, because I know Mando didn't have it.
No.
I mean, even though it had the little dangly target, that wasn't something that anybody really cared about.
Well,
so
it's really made me think, though, that, like, I don't know, I see the appeal with a CGC type game in my game collection, but here I am, if in my head I'm like, well, which one should I get? Should I get, if I'm going to do that type of thing, do you go Cactus Canyon? Do you go Monster Bash? Do you go Medieval Madness? Well, the one thing that keeps kind of pulling me towards Cactus Canyon is the potential Lyman 2.0 code. Like, is this game going to have its current code set, which everybody will love? And then is there going to be a deeper version of the game for everyone else to enjoy, that when you start, you hold in the flippers or something, you pick the other one? Like, if that would be the perfect case scenario, right? That would be, give me this game so all my friends and family can love it every time they play it. But then if I get bored of it, give me the code set that I can go way deeper like, that sounds awesome. But I also know that's kind of it's very up in the air. Is that actually going to happen at this point? I don't know. I don't know that answer.
we haven't really heard anything else really about it, other than what I think Josh Sharp went on Jeff Teolis's podcast, Pinball Profile, shortly, after Lyman had passed away. And I think he kind of mentioned code a little bit, but then after that, I mean, I don't know. I don't really know anything else about it.
I thought I had heard that they had a really good game plan of all the stuff they wanted to do, but it was Lyman. He's the one that's actually typing in the code. And at this point, I don't know who is going to want to open up that file and start tweaking. Like, who would want to take on that responsibility? Like, I don't know. I pity the person that does, but at the same time, if you're the guy doing it, thank you for doing it, and hopefully we can get that code out and finish this code. But to wrap it all up, overall, I was not prepared to like this game at all. I thought it would be fun. It'll be a fun thing to play for 2-3 weeks before I get something else. But this game, and maybe it's the first CGC game, remake game I've had, I'm incredibly impressed with the build quality, the upgrade to I have no interest in owning an original Cactus Canyon. All the bells and whistles that they put in this thing are incredibly well done. The topper is incredibly well done. Like, this is a fun game. This is a fun game that I'm enjoying. And that's what I was reading in chat when I was playing it. Like, people are just like, Cactus Canyon is just fun pinball. If you're okay with that, to have a good time. But yeah, does it warrant a spot in your collection because you may only have fun with it for 30 minutes and you're bored and you want to go play another game? Fine. I don't know. I don't know that answer, but that's a personal choice for everyone. But we will see. So the challenge there, and this is the segue, is if I was to get a game like this, I would have to give up one of my games. I would have to sell it or trade it. And what's crazy to me is that game, Deadpool, would probably be the one I'd have to sell or trade. And so that's a whole nother thing. Like, am I willing to give that up? I don't know. But that leads me to a really good question. And this was a viewer submitted question, which is, when do you sell a game? When do you sell a game, and how do you handle seller's remorse? So, Tom, I don't know how much you want to get into it, because I know you have some games going out and a potential game coming in. I don't know if you want to disclose any of that. But mentally, how do you wrap your head around, when is it time for a game to leave, and then seller's remorse? So you can go first.
We'll get in. I'm going to be doing a trade soon, but we'll get into that in a different episode.
Sounds good.
I think you get to a point with a game. It's like, I've seen everything. It's just not doing anything for me anymore. And it's time to go on to something new. New games come out. You want to try them out. But I have bought games back, and the magic the second time around just wasn't there.
Okay.
This was more early on, I guess, but like I've had I had a Starship Troopers, and I really liked it when I had it. I got it back, and it was just wasn't the same. And Judge Dredd, same thing. So, but yeah, it's just I guess maybe I'd have more buyer's remorse in a smaller collection. Kind of,
Okay.
If I had 4 games, I think it might be a little harder than when you have 35 to 40.
What about your emotional? Like, there are people that they're like, well, I can't sell that game because it's the first game I had, or I can't sell that game because my son and I refinished the whole game, and I can't like.
There's some of that, like Spider-Man was the first game I bought new in box. I still love that game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'll ever sell it. Rush
Yeah.
will not leave.
Well, luckily it's a
It
good game.
will not leave,
Yeah.
Joel.
But luckily it's a good game, right? That's the challenge. And
Yeah.
I don't mean this I don't mean Ray, I'm sorry. But there are people that bought Led Zeppelin because it's Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
And that's a dream theme, and they don't like the game. And now they're stuck. They're stuck because they're like, it's my dream theme. But and I think I will tell you, Led Zeppelin I had a blast on. You can get them now. They're available. They're selling for cheap. I would absolutely encourage people to give it a shot. That game is actually a ton of fun. With that said, though, there are people that was like, that's their dream team. They have it. And now they're like, it's the emotional pull versus like the actual, are you playing it? If you're not playing the game, that's my thing. If I own a game and I realize, like, to be 100% honest right now, when I come down into my basement, if I only have time to play 1 or 2 games, the 2 games that I'm actually playing are Cactus Canyon and Godzilla. Like, these are the 2. So I haven't put much time on Deadpool recently, and that's just because I have 2 other games that are grabbing my attention. That's kind of my rule of thumb. Another thing that I would highly suggest is make some friends. And if you have the ability to trade a
What's
game,
that like?
yeah. If you have the ability to trade a game, do it. And what I mean by that is Jurassic Park. I wanted to play Jurassic Park. I wanted to experience it. I wanted to have it, but I didn't want to commit to buying it, and I also didn't want to commit to selling anything. So luckily I had a friend, Ryan, who's in the area, and so he's borrowing TNA. I'm borrowing Jurassic Park. Having TNA now out of the house really makes me, it makes you question, like, do I miss it? My answer is yes, I do. I absolutely miss having TNA here. I'm looking forward to getting TNA back. But when you have that opportunity to trade away a game and you're like, I haven't been able to play it in 2 months, I haven't missed it, well, it's probably time to sell it. It's probably time to sell it. And I've been able to do that with Turtles. Moving Turtles to my parents' house has actually really made me appreciate Turtles more because I play it every time I go to my parents' house. Like, it's the only game here. I might as well flip it around. It's like, man, I miss this game. This is a fun game. Like, I really... So that's the thing. Like, if you have an
make sure
opportunity,
if you do a trade, you do it with somebody you trust.
Yes.
And they're not going to like take it out on route or,
Yeah.
or sell it on you or what. But
if
go
you
ahead,
can,
Joel.
yeah, if you can do that, though, if you can get your game out of your house somewhere else, whether it's a trade or let a friend borrow it or something, that gives you a taste of what it would be like to sell it. And if you're okay with that, then there's your answer. Otherwise, if you're like, I need it, TNA, come back to me, I miss you. like I've sold TNA before, and I regret. Like, I know I won't make that mistake again. But Travis, what are your thoughts? You've gone through games. I mean,
well, there's several different ways you could look at this. So I would assume. So what's the conditions that we're going off of? If you have like 10 games or less, to where you actually notice the game. Something like, because if you have it, and Tom can probably attest to this, when you have a big collection, it's okay for some games will go a long time without being played, to the point that sometimes you just got to flip it on and just plunge a few balls just to make sure that everything keeps working. I have a bunch of EMs that I do that with, so this could happen with all eras. What I would probably say, based on, I can't really speak to tell people what to do. I can say how I like to do it. I like to make sure I identify my dream themes. So I know it's Walking Dead, I know it's Godzilla, I know it's Avengers, games like that. And I got extremely lucky that 2 of my dream themes were designed by Elwyn.
Good.
That's just like pure luck at this point. But yeah, there's certain games out there. So those 3 games I would have a very hard time getting rid of. I wouldn't say never about all of them, except for Walking Dead. And the only reason why is because that's the pen that my family bought for me. And that's the very first pen that I ever owned because of that. So it holds like such a close place to me. It means a lot. That's a good reason for me to never give up on that. But that being said, the strategy I use, having that game and knowing that I'll never sell it, that's the game I'm willing to trade with trusted people to bring a game in because I know I'm never going to sell it. And I know I'm okay with not playing it for a few months. So I've done multiple trades in the past for other games to get to play them, to get to figure it out without having to drop $6,000 to $8,000 on it. I've done that a lot. So I would tell somebody, find a game or two that you know you don't want to sell.
Joel's missing this.
Probably buy a
He's
camera that
missing
works.
the Elgato no signal.
I'm trying to find the actual question, but yes, Elgato.
But no,
it's 30 minutes. It's like good. Hey,
It's
it's
okay.
been
I'm
another 30
listening
minutes.
to you,
It's
Travis.
fine. It's fine. But no, I would say that that's a good reason to have a couple of games in which you know you never want to sell, or at least it's highly unlikely that you will sell them. Then just be okay with trading it out with the people that you can trust in your local pinball community. That would enable you to play a lot of other games that otherwise you wouldn't get a chance to get to experience. I think that's an easy way to go about it.
And that's why, like TNA, I was totally fine with trading out TNA. Like it would have been interesting if I traded out Deadpool. Maybe that would actually tell me, like, hey, I haven't had it 3 months. Do I need it back? Do I miss it?
Yeah.
I don't know. The actual question here is, since you all own multiple games, when/how do you decide to move on and sell a title? I have a hard time letting go, even if it's driving me crazy. Mando, this is his answer. I've always worried about seller's remorse. I mean, luckily, most games, if you truly ever had seller's remorse, you can get almost any game back.
Well,
if you really
and
had to.
here's the reality of it too. If you're not having fun every single time you're turning on the game, just move on from it. Rip off the Band-Aid. Like that fun isn't going to all of a sudden come back. And you can decipher if you're just tired of a game for now and you need a break. You can tell if you're like you said a second ago, Joel, you love Deadpool. You love Deadpool, right? So you're okay with taking a break from it. It's not like as soon as you turn on a game, you go there, you'll say, I'm not having fun with this game.
No.
But the bottom line is there's certain games when you get enough games in, right? And you've had a game for 3 years and you've beat it a few times. The code's not getting updated anymore. You know exactly what to do. Maybe you're just like, as soon as you turn it on, you don't get that feeling of joy as soon as you're playing it. So why keep on? At that point, move on from it. Just rip off the Band-Aid. I promise you, like I felt the same way about Star Wars. Love that game. Star Wars is a dream theme. I love the whole stuff, like anything to do with Star Wars. I love it. Right. But after a while of blowing up the Death Star, after a while of just playing Han or Leia over and over and over again, mixed in with some R2-D2, and throwing around multipliers, I finally just got tired of it.
Yep.
And I found myself not playing it on a consistent basis. So I moved on from it. I missed it for a little while. But then you know what? Found it on location, put in a couple of games, and I was good. Yeah. I was fine. And then that told me I was perfectly fine with selling the game, getting the money, and not looking back. And then moving on to other themes, getting to experience different pinball. And I think that's the biggest thing is don't be afraid of taking that chance and experiencing other games and find ways to play whatever theme that you had a hard time letting go of or whatever game you had a hard time letting go of. Just find a way to play it every now and again. If you have a location nearby or if you know a friend that has it, like if you can have that set up before you move on from the game and just kind of your fallback, I mean, that makes it so much easier, in my opinion.
No, and like Mando, that person's like Mandos are available. Like you could sell that right now, and worst case scenario, 6 months from now, boom, you can buy another one. But the only pin that I would say is if you're not having fun, wait. Is like like Bond. If you own Bond right now, Bond is so far from being done. Like if you're not having fun with the layout, that's not going to change. But if you're just bored because the code's not there, sure. I think if it's already there, it's already in your house. If you can wait, another few months and let that code really start to flesh out, and you get a better glimpse of how of that game. That one, it would be hard, but you might just have to wait on that. But a lot of other games, I get it. Like I know exactly the fun that I'm going to have with Deadpool. But it's that game that you have in the back of your head of like, if I can only have 4, is there a game that I would have more fun with? And it hurts me to see when my friends and family come over and then they walk up to the games, what games do they start? They start Godzilla and they're starting Cactus Canyon. Nobody's playing Deadpool by themselves. And it's like, oh, like, why do you like that game? I like that game. Why are we not, meeting on that? So I don't know. I don't know where I'm at with this, but it's just this whole Cactus Canyon is thrown a whole. It's really messing me up, and I don't know how to feel about it. And
it sounds like you're done with all the George Gomez interviews. That's what it sounds like.
no, it's weird. It's weird. I mean, I when I was at Zach's Barn for the Pinball Wars, I mean, beautiful games, has an amazing collection. Like I stepped up and played as Deadpool and had a great time. There's plenty of games that I was, wanted. Ooh, you got that? I want to play that. I want to see what that's like. And others, I'm like, nah. I just walk right by them, like no interest. So I don't. It's an interesting question.
I think this even brings up another question that a lot of people probably have out there, and it's, if I'm not having fun on a game that I used to have fun on before, but I don't want to let go of it, how can I guess, like spice it up a little bit, figure out how to have fun with this pin again. So I find myself doing that a lot with different pins as well, to where I decide to play it completely different than what I would have done before. So even for Star Wars for a little while, I just played Luke all the time, and I developed a whole new strategy. Didn't really care if I was blowing up points. I just cared more about creating the moments with Luke and finding different paths. Yeah. And so you can do that on a lot of games as well. So if you have a game that's in your game room right now, but you're like, you know what? I haven't played it that much. I just haven't been having fun with it. Take a look at it again and play it completely different than you have before. Like it's a lot of fun playing the Godzilla saucer meta, right? If you're just tired of just playing Godzilla, just go for saucers the whole time. And it makes the game very interesting in that way. And so even Walking Dead, play the Well Walker meta the whole time. That'll make it interesting, stacking up with Riot. There's just certain things you could look at with games just to completely change your approach to it and change your path and see if you might have fun that way. And other ways you could do it is maybe lower the difficulty level down from the multi-balls. So maybe you can get stacks a lot easier. You can do something that you might not be doing on a regular basis when the game's set the default, or change the modes to be easy. So maybe your journey to a wizard mode isn't quite as daunting. It doesn't feel like you're chopping wood as much. I mean, there's a lot of different.
If you're getting to the wizard mode easier, make your game harder, challenge yourself a little bit.
Change some things. I would say the best thing to do would be maybe to change the multi-balls to be a little bit more difficult. Okay. So then that way you have a challenge of thinking your approach differently. And I think that goes a long way to making a game have more appeal when you can change up how you're approaching it, how you're playing it, and what you're actually doing during the gameplay.
Okay. No, all good points. All good points. Well, we do need to wrap it up a little bit. We're almost at an hour and a half. There was a comment. I'm curious how much you want to talk about it, Travis, but the only other thing that I have on here is it seems like the industry is slowing down a little bit. And I don't know how much, and you're seeing this. I mean, you're seeing this from you've got all the numbers. You work for a pinball company, but what are your thoughts? I mean, I know there's a lot of excitement coming around the corner. There's some new games coming out soon. TPF, there may be multiple reveals. I don't know if people are just, bunkering up, or I don't know if it's Christmas bills or waiting on that tax return. I don't know. So Travis, what are your thoughts on that?
No, it's like anything else. We talked about this a little bit off podcast. Of course, January and February historically in any industry is typically not as great as quarter four. Like quarter one, there's always a dip, right? But yeah, it's kind of noticing a noticeable dip at this point. You see certain games that are used games where the price has come way down on. You see, like I'm actually seeing Godzilla premiums available right now out there. And so, I mean, that's something that we haven't seen in quite some time.
Which is crazy though, because I know there are distributors that they are so back ordered. So some of these big distributors, they've got lists that they're not through. And yet we got these small distributors that are
there's others that don't.
I got them. Yep. So why is it that Stern distributes them in that manner?
I mean, it's
sales versus sales that are already committed versus new. I don't know.
Allocation and purchase orders is like a whole another podcast. I don't even know if we could even talk about publicly anyways, but I will say, that, yeah, it's noticeable that there is a slowdown that's coming. It's trending. It's probably already here, and we're in the middle of it. I'm very curious to see how that affects used market, and I'm very curious to see how that affects second runs of games
Okay.
coming up. I don't know if we're going to see the same backlog of games. Obviously, there's plenty of dealers have James Bonds that are out. And I mean, I don't recall, like Rush sold very well right out of the gate, very first time. Godzilla did the same thing, first run. Mandalorian did great first run. So this is kind of, we're just noticing a slowdown with that as well. So when you look at all things considered, this isn't happening just for one company. Scooby Doo didn't sell out, right?
Yeah.
Toy Story,
TNA didn't sell out.
Yeah,
Toy Story
TNA didn't sell out.
Yep.
Toy Story was like quick out of the gate, and then just a falling star came right back. Bond,
and there are Toy Story. There are distributors that had to cancel. They put in orders. Yep. They heard from JJP, hey, your order's ready, and they said, I can't. I already have so many in stock. I can't.
Right.
And I know there are people, there are distributors doing that with Stern. That if we got Mandos for you, I can't. I already have them. You know. Yeah.
So So what you're going to see is there's plenty of other pins coming out. There's other cornerstones. I'm sure at some point we'll see. Hopefully we see GTF from American Pinball. You see these
GTF. I'm ready.
You see these Scooby Doos coming out. You're going to see more Cactus Canyons coming out, and then of course you're going to have the cornerstones from Stern.
Yeah.
And then of course it's been rumored about a Jersey Jack pin, another one coming out, and I imagine that there's going to be another one at some point this year. So yeah, there's going to be plenty of options for pinball. It's just the question is there going to be enough people wanting to buy the games, or are we going to see the same velocity? And it's interesting because it looks like that's starting to trend down a little bit overall if we look at everything all put together and not just necessarily just one. Yeah, just not one game, because sure, one game will sell.
Yeah, Godzilla's not trimming down. You know,
right. But it is interesting that we saw as of this morning there were Godzilla premiums being told that other people have gotten additional allocation of them, and there's a reason why people are getting additional allocation of something. You know, I think we can all figure out why that is. So it's like, I mean, it's a clear sign of the time. So.
It's interesting.
I don't know. I'm curious to see what that does to prices overall, because prices are rising from a manufacturing standpoint, raw material, inflation still doing whatever the hell it's doing.
Oh,
and,
curious. On the Free Play Pinball podcast, that was a question they asked John Borg. You know, what's a part of the game that's more expensive than people realize? And he very quickly said the cabinet. Like, yes. And I the amount of wood that's in that or needed, and the wood prices are going up, metal back box, or in CGC's case, I mean, that's all wood. Like that's, and he goes, believe it or not, like the CPUs and stuff, like those are relatively cheap. It's not the electronics. It's the screws and stuff. A screw that used to cost 20 cents is now $1.20. It's just, so
I don't think the general public realizes how much cost has really risen in general and gotten passed on too through other, like take shipping, for instance.
Oh, yeah.
You know, price of gas has been up and down. It's been all over the place. Now, of course, you know, those companies aren't going to all of a sudden like charge less for their shipping, you know, and anybody that sees free shipping, you know, it's not free. Somebody's paying for that, obviously. So yeah, and prices, it's just, you're dealing with a lot. Raw materials going up. The cabinet is actually more expensive than what people realize, with the wood, with the build, with everything. So yeah, it's just when you see these prices, I think people would be very surprised about what things actually cost, because there is a lot of misinformation out there in terms of thinking that, oh, there's not much cost into these games when there is. And obviously there's always going to be a markup across the board, because somebody's got to make money to stay in business and pay employees. That's just the way it is for any industry in general. So
it's a good point. It's just something we're seeing. I thought it was worth addressing. The only other thing I could think worth addressing, looking now that you have your games on, Tom, all I'm seeing is your Expression light kits in Led Zeppelin and Rush, and you have the Ninja Mod light kick and the speakers. Those speakers look sick, and your Star Trek in the background with the lasers.
Looks nice, doesn't it?
It looks real good.
I'm jealous that he has the Rush Expression lights.
You and everyone else.
Super jealous of that.
Yeah. How's it feel, Tom?
Feels good.
Well, we can wrap it up.
Love
we
Tom.
Tom's the best. Tom, do you have any other thoughts on that? I mean, do you feel the industry, or is this something you're seeing, or I don't know, overall thoughts on where you're at in the hobby, like, and are you waiting on stuff? I mean, what do you think?
I'd like to see some new stuff come out. It seems like it's just been a long time.
Yeah. Well, it's unfortunate. Just the energy behind Bond, it just dropped so quickly, and then the 60th took so long to get it to even be revealed that, and now that's happened, but no stream. We're just waiting. I think it feels like we've been in a weird holding pattern for like 2 months, and we're waiting to see. But I think we're going to see a lot. I think there's going to be a lot
times,
coming
Joel.
up. Dark times. But
Dark
like even me
times.
from a selfish standpoint, like I'm pretty sure I'm going to be streaming Scooby Doo relatively soon. I'm going to be streaming Bond 60th relatively soon. And that's February. March, there's going to be another Stern game coming out soon. Like there's a lot coming. GTF can't, whenever that shows up, I'm ready. I don't know. There's a lot coming that I think should be really, really fun. But all right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Plug it up. Travis, plug away. What do you got?
You guys can find me on this YouTube channel and this audio podcast, the Triple Drain Pinball Podcast. And you can also find me creating my own show that I'm going to call Joel and Not His Friends.
It's Flip It Out with Friends. Flip It Out with Friends. You just don't make the list anymore, Travis. I'm so sorry. Yeah. But yes, thank you for being here. Thank you for wearing that shirt. That shirt looks great on you.
Thank you. I love it. I'm going to wear it probably at District 82 during the tournament.
You should
as well.
You should.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Tom, plug away.
You can find me at Fox Cities Pinball.
Perfect. With all the social, all the everything. Do you have any tournaments or anything crazy coming up? Sign-ups that people are going to miss?
we got a big tournament this coming weekend. The Winter 3X.
Nice.
It's a big deal for a Whopper farm. So.
Ooh. Okay, so rest up. That's this weekend, so tomorrow. Yeah, you ready to? I'm assuming.
I was thinking when this would actually drop.
Oh, so okay,
way to go, Joel.
It's okay.
They get ahead. I'm living in the moment. He's actually being real.
I don't blame him for not voting for us now, Tom. It makes so much sense now.
Oh man. Well, thank you, Tom, for pointing that out. Appreciate it. And I'm Joel. I do obviously this podcast, but then yes, every Wednesday, 10 to midnight Eastern Standard Time, the Flipping Out Pinball stream on YouTube. We'll do a Flipping Out with Friends this week. Sorry, Travis, you won't be there. And then we'll be streaming. I just alternate every other week. So check out those videos, like, subscribe, all the things. And if you're enjoying the video here, like, subscribe, all the things. And I think that's it. So Tom, like always, you get the last words.
Mystery Castle in Disc 2024.